Tonight, after a series of shootings in Desert Hot Springs, police have finally made an arrest. We have the latest.
And a Palm Springs man is a hero after pulling an unconscious man from flames that engulfed his overturned car. It's a story you'll only see on KMIR News.
Plus, we have an exclusive interview with the boyfriend of a slain Coachella teenager who was in the car as the suspects opened fire on them on Interstate 10.
And temperatures are going up, my friends. Yes, triple-digit heat is in the forecast for you tomorrow. The question is, how long will it stick around? We're going to talk about that coming up in my complete forecast.
First in the Coachella Valley, you're watching KMIR TV Palm Springs, where the news comes first. KMIR News starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for the KMIR News at 11. I'm Gino Lamont.
And I'm Thalia Hayden.
First at 11 tonight, recently there have been multiple reports of shots being fired at homes in Desert Hot Springs. 24-year-old Marwan Nelson of Desert Hot Springs has now been arrested in connection with those shootings. He was booked into Indio jail for possessing a firearm as a felon. Now you may recall that two homes on Kayak Avenue were shot at just days apart. The bullets left holes in the facades of the buildings of the homes, but no one was injured.
A Palm Springs man is being called a hero after rescuing a man trapped in his burning car.
Yeah, that rescue happened in Riverside, but the Good Samaritan from the Coachella Valley. KMIR's Tony Shin reports.
I see a car upside down on fire. Out my window right there, it looked unreal.
That's when mattress showroom manager Santiago Portillo ran outside and started recording this cell phone video. He found this car upside down and on fire.
But I saw an arm hanging out the window and a sweater. I knew there was a human life in there, and I was gonna witness that getting roasted.
He set down his cell phone but kept recording. In this video, you can see him run over to the car and pull out an unconscious man who was badly hurt.
I went inside the car and through the air vents, there was fire going through the vents. I saw the flames in there.
Santiago says he saw other people watching and recording what was happening, but only one man came to help him pull the driver far enough away to safety, just in case the car exploded.
They were just recording there with their iPads, filming everything, but no one would come help.
Witnesses say the driver lost control of his car while heading west on Indiana Avenue. He then struck a light pole before tumbling onto the sidewalk. Riverside police are investigating this as a street racing crash. Regardless of why the crash happened, Santiago's mother is just glad her son was able to save the driver's life. His little daughters are also calling him a hero and even posted this picture outside the mattress store.
I'm not a hero. I'm not a hero. I'm just a human being. And I'll do it all over again for anybody.
In Riverside, Tony Shin, KMIR News.
Well, the man accused of shooting and killing a woman in her car, scheduled to be arraigned earlier today, but that arraignment was delayed. 19-year-old Andrew Castro of Palm Springs is accused in the shooting death of 19-year-old Maria Mendoza of Coachella.
The shooting happened last weekend on the eastbound Interstate 10, somewhere between Bob Hope Drive and Washington Street. Castro is being held without bail. A second suspect remains at large, 22-year-old Damian De Los Santos of Cathedral City. Today, the boyfriend of the young victim talked to our Kitty Alvarado in KMIR News exclusive about the loss.
Alan Vasquez says he's constantly replaying the events that led to the murder of his girlfriend, 19-year-old Maria Guadalupe Mendoza.
Every day, every night, when I wake up without her, it's just hard.
He says Mendoza called him for a ride from the AM/PM on Date Palm Drive. He says she was with the men suspected of killing her, and one of the suspects was upset Mendoza was leaving. That's when he saw a gun.
I sped off, she jumped in my car, and from there, I got onto the freeway, and that's where it started. The chasing, and he started shooting at us.
Suddenly, he felt a bullet graze his leg.
And that's when I looked over. And she looked down and she said, I've been shot. I'm gonna die.
He says he never imagined this would be one of their last moments together. He tried to reassure her.
We're gonna make it. Like, don't worry, baby. And, she was just right there, like, bleeding out.
She died at the hospital.
I feel like a liar because she didn't make it. She didn't make it.
One of the suspects, Andrew Castro of Palm Springs, was arrested, but Damian de los Santos is on the run. Vasquez says justice would be both suspects getting the maximum punishment.
Life without parole, and hopefully the death penalty, because they took somebody precious from all of us.
Mendoza's cousin wants the suspects to know the pain they've caused family and friends.
It's heartbreaking. They took not only my cousin, my friend, they took away someone's daughter. She was loved by a lot of people.
In Coachella, Kitty Alvarado, KMIR News.
A deadly crash on Interstate 10 involving 3 big rigs forced a partial freeway closure today. The crash happened about 11 o'clock this morning on the eastbound side of Interstate 10 in Cabazon.
KMIR's Carlos Herrera joins us live in studio right now with details. Carlos.
Well, it was a chaotic scene on the eastbound 10 freeway in Cabazon earlier today. 59-year-old Miguel Rolon Sr. of Thermal was killed after the 3 big rigs collided. Although the cause of the crash is still under investigation, California Highway Patrol says the fatality could have been prevented. A dramatic and violent crash on the eastbound 10 in Cabazon causes the closure of all eastbound lanes, a spill of nearly 50 gallons of diesel fuel, and takes the life of a 59-year-old driver of a big rig.
The driver was out of the vehicle. He was actually standing on the bed of the truck, waving traffic over.
Miguel Rolon Sr. of Thermal was killed after a FedEx truck slammed into his stranded truck in the number 3 lane, causing a chain reaction collision of 3 big rigs. Rolon got out of his rig and stood on the back of the flatbed, waving his arms to warn drivers that his rig was disabled. That's when a FedEx truck plowed into him.
Numerous vehicles went around him. The FedEx truck did not see him at some point and collided with the rear of the flatbed. This threw the driver onto the asphalt where he was killed.
Witnesses say the FedEx truck hit the back of the flatbed at full speed. The driver of that truck, Roger Ellis of Mansfield, Texas, who sustained minor injuries, claims he didn't see the stop truck. Meantime, CHP says the crash could have been prevented. They say if you're ever stranded in your car in the middle lanes of the freeway, you should always call 911 and safely get out of the car.
Get away from your vehicle. If you can't get away from your vehicle, stay inside, stay buckled the best you can. But my recommendation is to abandon and flee that vehicle the best you can, because at some point it's probably going to get hit.
And most importantly, they say,
keep your high visual horizon, keep that seatbelt on.
CHP officials say that the driver of this disabled flatbed truck should have simply put on his emergency flashers, made his way safely to either the Meridian or the shoulder of the freeway, and waited for help. Gino?
All right, thank you, Carlos. We got a lot of new information today about the suspect who led several law enforcement agencies on a dangerous high-speed pursuit across the Coachella Valley. That suspect, 23-year-old Joshua Keplinger of Bermuda Dunes, was booked on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer and felony evading causing serious injury. Keplinger is expected to be in court tomorrow. This is Keplinger as he was being arrested at the end of the pursuit at Frank Sinatra Drive and Cook Street. But officials say it all started when deputies approached Keplinger in Indio about a separate incident involving a shooting. They say Keplinger started to drive off, and that's when he hit one of the deputies. The most dramatic images, though, from yesterday were of the pursuit that in the La Quinta area, where a Riverside County Sheriff's deputy cruiser apparently hit a curb, flipped the car over, which came to a stop on its hood. That was near the Miles and Jefferson Street intersection. That officer was taken to the hospital where he's recovering tonight. The pursuit continued into Palm Desert, where another police unit was hit a car that was not involved in the pursuit. Both of those drivers were taken to the hospital as precaution. Keplinger is being held on $250,000 bail.
A man is in police custody after climbing up the iconic KTLA radio tower in Los Angeles today. Inflatable cushions were placed at the bottom of the tower, and police shut down Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. Meanwhile, mental health and crisis negotiation teams responded with rescuers speaking to the man during the ordeal. He remained on the tower for hours, roughly 80 feet high. The man finally came down on his own and was taken into custody. Hey, time for our first check on weather tonight.
KMIR News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Jeffrey standing by at the Weather Center. Ginger.
Temperatures today definitely on the warmer side. We've been talking about this since last week, that this bubble of warm air is going to have an impact on our bottom line this week. So please get ready for, well, temperatures that are on the toasty side. We kick things off with about 97 today. This time of the year, we should be at 92. So enjoy the evenings. Yes, the evenings and the mornings, pretty nice. Overnight lows down to about 67 degrees, but also overnight, notice winds are out of the southeast. That means we're taking an offshore flow overhead. In addition, the jet stream is literally trapping all that cool air coming down from Canada to the north of us. So literally more than half of the nation under the gun of temperatures that are definitely on the warmer side. Of course, we are going to be one of the hot spots of the nation, but we're not alone. The entire desert Southwest seeing temperatures that are now looking for triple-digit status tomorrow. With the help of the offshore flow, we will take that warm air and push it away from us, and that's going to allow for numbers to warm up along the coastline as well. So 102, that's in the forecast for you tomorrow. Make sure you stay hydrated. Try and limit your outdoor exposure, especially between about 3 to 5 in the afternoon. Peak of the heat usually comes right about 3:45 to 4 o'clock right now, so be ready for the triple digits. And then a little bit of wind will start to kick up this weekend, and that changes things in the 7-day. I'll explain. Coming up, my complete forecast. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ginger. Coming up next, yet another reason to stay in the house. As a woman is bit by a rattlesnake. I'm telling you, that's their turf. Leave them alone.
It's the way not to get hurt, never to leave your home. We're going to tell you more about this story when we come back.
You're watching KMIR News at 11 with Gina Lamont, Thalia Hayden, and Chief Meteorologist Ginger Jeffries.
A woman is recovering tonight after she was bitten by a rattlesnake while hiking in Palm Springs. She was hiking roughly 6 miles into the mountain on the Skyline Trail just west of Palm Springs when a CHP helicopter found the woman. An ambulance took her to a local hospital where she is now in stable condition. This rattlesnake encounter is a great reminder that these cases are more common during the summer.
As we're heading into the warmer weather, the snakes are going to be out. It's important to wear the proper footwear when you're out hiking. Stay on the trail so that you're not getting into areas where you can't see where you're putting your feet and hands, and just be aware of your surroundings. Be safe.
When it's hot like this, I guess it's a concern and have to be careful and alert. Yeah, it's a little, it makes one a little nervous when you go out and hike to know that kind of predator's around.
Now, these kinds of snake bites can be deadly, but with modern anti-venoms, chances are if you get immediate help, you will be okay.
Palm Springs Mayor Rob Moon is preparing for his first major speech as mayor. He'll deliver the State of the City address at the Palm Springs Convention Center tomorrow. Today, the mayor had a bit of a dry run, if you will, sort of getting the lay of the land, getting comfortable with what he has to do tomorrow. The mayor is expected to talk about some of the past problems in the city in the previous administration, while of course looking forward.
A lot of great things have been happening in Palm Springs over the past year. Of course, 3 of us on the city council are new. We've only been there for 5 months, but we're going to be talking about all the great things that Palm Springs is seeing as the renaissance of Palm Springs continues. Things are booming in the city.
So I'm going to be talking about Palm Springs is really becoming a foodie destination. And I'm going to talk about a lot of the great new restaurants that are opening in Palm Springs. And besides the big hotels, like the Kempton that's under construction, the Virgin that's been approved.
Mayor Rob Moon will give his first State of the City address tomorrow, Palm Springs Convention Center, 11:30 a.m.
Coming up next, the weather is getting warmer, that's for sure.
Yep, triple digits tomorrow, Ginger?
Definitely so. We're looking forward back-to-back triple-digit days, but then a smidge of relief in the forecast for you by the weekend. Details coming your way after the break.
Welcome back. So they tell me that we hired a new guy.
We did,
Yeah.
and he's pretty good.
He's Vince Marino, and Kitty Alvarado introduces you to him.
Meet Vince Marino. He's the newest member of the KMIR News team.
I'm Vince Marino, KMIR News.
He was born and raised in Los Angeles, also where he got his first break in the news business.
I started at College of the Canyons working for the student publication there. From there, I got hired in radio at a local radio station in Santa Clarita, KHTS AM 1220, where I worked in the news department as a staff writer reporter.
Marino got bit by the news bug early in life.
When I was very young, I had an internship at KNBC, and I was interning there and just kind of fell in love with news.
Marino loves boating and his big family.
My father has 37 first cousins in the U.S. alone, not including the cousins that he has in Italy. So there's a lot of us, and when we get together, it can be quite a ruckus.
And he's thrilled to join the KMIR News family and serve the community.
I love that KMIR puts the news first. That's what's the best part about working here, is that the commitment to accuracy and our commitment to the public.
Kitty Alvarado, KMIR News.
Oh, I thought that you guys were going to talk to me.
No, go ahead, you're on.
I was just wondering who Kitty Alvarado is.
I'm just making up names now.
Yeah, okay. Just double checking. Let's talk weather. In fact, there's been a lot of talk over the past couple days about tornadoes, very severe weather moving through on the southern plains. Did you know? Because this is what I do. I go through our history books, all the weather almanacs here at KMIR, and I found this one for you tonight. In 1997, a tornado actually struck Apple Valley. That's just north of Riverside up to 15. Catastrophic damage was done due to this twister. Of course, tornadoes are not indigenous of the Coachella Valley. We rarely see tornadic activity here, but it is tornado season. Southern states and the Gulf Coast through May, southern plains looking for May and early June, and then the northern states in the Midwest seeing a lot of tornadic activity in June and July. So you're seeing all sorts of amazing pictures. In fact, on my Facebook page, I posted a 360-degree view that the Weather Channel took of a tornado that touched down. I believe it was in Kentucky, and you can just tilt your mobile device and go all the way around the tornado. That's fairly impressive. Our numbers right now, that's not too shabby either. Upper 70s, mid 80s. This is all because the wind is not feeding in any cool air. So now the numbers are starting to go up. We also have a little bit of the offshore flow going on, meaning high pressure over the Great Basin, giving us that offshore sweep. As that happens, well, all that cool air along the coastline, it's not able to migrate to the interior. Translation, yep, here we go, my friends. We put it off as late as humanly possible, but now the heat is on. So take advantage of the mornings and the evenings. Triple-digit heat is a feature in the forecast for you tomorrow and Friday, and then on cue, just because this is how we like it for the weekend, cooling things down a little bit. Westerly winds on Saturday will result in temperatures coming back down in the double digits where they should be, about 92 degrees on Sunday. But wait, there's more. 10-day forecast model shows rain moving our way toward the latter part of next week. I'll believe it when I see it, but yeah, that's developing.
Fingers crossed.
Just happy we've been this cool for this long.
I'm delirious
right?
We've been this cool for this long.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Ginger. Coming up next, is it too late now to say sorry?
Is it too late now to say sorry?
Oh, that's how it goes?
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking about Justin Bieber, and he is not sorry. We'll tell you why in tonight's Showbiz Report.
In tonight's Showbiz Report, in an Instagram post on Tuesday, the Bieb said, quote, "I feel like a zoo animal." So that's it. He's not taking any more photos with fans. Bieber's Instagram post is said to be inspired by an incident at a Boston sports bar where a family came up to him and asked for a picture. He said no. And they implied, hey, we bought your stupid album. The least you can do is take a picture with my kid. But no, the Biebs will not do it. So just buy the album and leave him alone. Dividing up Prince's vast estate just got more complicated. That is, if this man, Carlin Q. Williams, a 39-year-old inmate, is indeed the superstar's actual son. He's asking that Prince's DNA be tested in an effort to prove Williams is Prince's child. Though he won't be able to cash his check anytime soon, he is serving a 92-month sentence in Colorado for possession of a firearm by a felon. Palm Desert-based rock band Eagles of Death Metal performed their first concert in America since the Paris terror attacks Eagles of Death Metal was playing a sold-out show in Paris on November 13th when terrorists fired assault rifles into the crowd, killing 89 people. The band members did make it out safely that night, and they say they will not let terrorists stop the music. The Showbiz Report's brought to you each and every night by the show at Agua Caliente Casino Resort Spa and Rancho Mirage. Coming up with the show, Leonard Skinner, followed by Art LeBeau, and then Brian Regan hits town. As always, stay tuned to KMIR for your chance to buy tickets or win tickets to the show. You can buy them anytime you want. Coming up next, can't pull yourself away from texts, apps, and games. What? I wasn't playing any games.
You know, can't. What experts are saying about phone addiction.
What was that? iPad right here, right there.
Your cell phone probably sitting next to you right now, even possibly in your hand.
Possibly shopping as we speak.
Yes.
A recent study reveals the average person spends 90 minutes a day staring at their phone screen, some of us considerably more. Ashley Bishop shows us how this could be impacting your actual life.
Father of two, Jeff Salmonson, says his 12-year-old son has had his phone for nearly 2 years.
Hey buddy, let's go do this, or hey, can you grab the dishes for me, something like that, and it was just buried into the phone.
A mental health therapist says she too has seen more teenagers and children not know how to live and communicate without their cell phone.
They're not developing those basic communication skills, and they are having difficulties having a conversation with another peer or a teacher because what they've learned is to communicate over text or through Facebook messages.
Cell phone and internet addiction is not officially listed in the DSM, the Manual of Mental Disorders. But according to Pennsylvania doctor Kimberly Young, 1 in 8 Americans suffer from problematic internet use.
In America, we really haven't done much at all. We've just kind of let it run wild.
Dr. Young founded the Center for Internet Addiction in 1995. She started the first inpatient 10-day treatment program here in the U.S. The program is complete with a digital detox, similar to other detox programs.
Finding a healthy balance, so looking at dieting as a metaphor, but really cutting down the number of hours you consume, and then looking at digital nutrition, the kind of activities you do.
Therapist Seek says it is important for parents to set rules and expectations for cell phone usage.
If you're texting when you're talking to your child and not having that face-to-face communication, your child is going to see that and they're going to repeat that behavior.
Something Jeff Salmonson says he is aiming to do. He wants his children to not just live in the digital world, but the real world.
I liked how I grew up. I think you built more personal relationships and you really got to know somebody a lot better in that.
Put it away with KMIR.
Still ahead tonight, a great catch on the diamond.
But it wasn't one of the pros. We have this impressive fan catch coming up next.
Well, you know, before you head up to bed tonight, there's a little something to sleep on. A great catch to show you from Major League Baseball.
Yeah, you got to watch this. I don't think this is a great catch. This is called interference.
Interference? Let's find out here.
Watch.
Foul ball.
Okay, clearly this is the Nationals.
It's over the line.
Oh.
That's interference.
It's over the white line.
It doesn't matter.
No,
that guy could have.
that's foul.
Right.
The question is it over the railing? And it looks like, yeah, he's on his side of the railing.
But the guy feels a little embarrassed. You can tell.
I would.
This isn't like Bartman. I think
Bartman ball.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to tell you
I think this is a legitimate catch by the fan.
When this happened at Wrigley Field, Bartman had to move.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow at 4:30.